What makes you say that?
Because I know him, and he loves Maria. He adores the kids. I don't think he would do anything to jeopardise that. Not for a lowlife like Theo.
Yeah, but he's got a right temper on him. You know that?
Yeah, true. I don't know, though. He's mellowed a lot over the years. He's not such a hothead anymore. So are you going to have to keep him in overnight then, or...?
He's already out. He'll be at home right now, sitting at home, lounging around in his underpants. It's all good.
The talk of the street.
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 Hello and welcome to episode 407 of The Talk of the Street, an unofficial Coronation Street catch podcast that thinks an English teacher should have a better idea about how creativity works. I'm Gavin.
And I'm microdosing.
Well, let's go. We'll see you next week, folks. What are you microdosing?
Weed.
Are you?
Well, THC, it's not like
When did you start doing this? This shouldn't be how I find out about this.
Which is exactly why you surely you've seen the two red bags marked PM pain and AM pain and the little blue vial that says calm on it over on my side of the bed.
No. Whatever goes on your side of the bed is your business.
There are some things on that side of the bed that you put there, so
I don't get involved. But
well, yeah, that's the point of that.
So you're high right now?
I'm not high right now, no. But when
You were high earlier?
A little. I took one of the calm ones. Because the calm ones are pills. So for me, they work better because the pain ones are gummies. So there's a lot of sugar in them. And I've only taken the pain ones once. And I was like, should I split this gummy into 3 and only take a third of it? Or should I take the whole thing? And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to take the whole thing and see how it goes. And that was the wrong decision.
Helen, I am fucking made of questions right now.
Well, I'm not supposed to take Tylenol because of my liver. And my nephrologist says that I can't take ibuprofen anymore because of my kidney. So I went on Facebook and said, I cannot take ibuprofen or Tylenol. What can I do for pain? And like 95% of my friend group on Facebook said, weed. Or THC.
To be fair, 95% of your friends on Facebook are Cheech and Chong. So maybe there's a vested interest there.
But it's
so where did you go and get that? These are not questions for the podcast.
Oh, I ordered them online, which is weird. It's weird to order weed online and have it mailed to your house. Like, I remember the good old days where you had to sit on some guy's couch for half an hour and watch him play Mario Kart. And that's how you bought weed. From some guy who plays Mario Kart with an ugly couch.
Oh.
So it is strange for me. This is the first legal weed I've ever bought in my life. It's not weed, it's THC, but you know what I mean.
Isn't THC the superior sound quality at the movies?
No,
that's THX.
Yeah, that's THX. So
that's my movie audio joke for the week.
So we'll see how it goes. I take them sparingly because it's ridiculously expensive.
I can imagine. I'm probably going to have one as soon as I go upstairs. Now that I know where they are.
Do you know what the funny thing is? It's like I said, the pain ones are gummies. The calm ones are pills, and I assumed it was a gummy. So the first one I took, I chewed it.
Yuck.
And I was like, I paid this much and it tastes like dirt? What is going on here? So then I look closer on the box, on the vial, and it says pills, and I'm like, I'm an idiot. So.
Just reverting to type. You've been a junkie for all of a day, and already you've just lost your brain. The adverts warning us of this were right.
Yeah, they came. They arrived on Monday. They arrived
your brains on drugs.
They arrived on Monday. So, and like I said, I've taken 3 over a week. So this isn't something that I do every day.
Yeah.
Obviously, only when I need it for pain, because I cannot take normal painkillers anymore for some reason. Well, not for some reason, for 2 very big reasons that are my organs, which hate me.
I mean, there's part of me that's tempted to try it, but there's a reason why I don't drink. I don't have a personality that sits well with this sort of thing.
And you didn't like weed when you were
No, I whited.
Yeah.
Every time whited.
Yeah. Maybe not for you. You might like the calm ones. Because if there's one thing you need in your life, it's calm.
Yeah. Oh well. Shall we preamble, my dear?
Yes, please.
Give us some of that stoner Corrie news.
Bev Collard has returned to filming Fair City in Ireland, reporting that testing has revealed her cancer is less aggressive than previously thought.
Excellent.
So that is very good news. Very good news from Bev.
What a roller coaster of emotions for her over the last few weeks and months.
Seriously.
Good news and bad news and good news and bad news.
Yeah,
This is good news.
it is good news.
Better news.
Yes.
Long may it continue.
Yeah. If she's feeling well enough to go back to filming, that's huge. Bertie speaks with a new face. Henry Duggan has taken over Child of Daniel duties from twins Rufus and Elias Morgan Smith. So that's why, once again, a blonde child has become a brunette overnight on the street.
And I couldn't pick the old Bertie from a lineup. I don't
Probably
think.
not.
So,
I think he had a bit of a rounder face and was blonde.
yeah. Just looked like a small child. Just a commoner garden small child. So this is Bertie getting proper lines now. I think he
Yes.
had lines previously, but
I think
not
he
many.
had said like "bye, daddy" once before this, but yeah, now he has emotions.
Right. And is
I'm-
able to hold up a mirror to Daniel's emotions.
Yes. Yes.
Which means that we're probably pretty close to the episode where Bertie calls Daniel a fanny.
I
And
hope
I'm personally
so.
looking forward
I
to
hope
that.
So. Fingers crossed. And finally, condolences to Claire Sweeney, who fell down the stairs and broke her Tom Ford glasses.
Oh no!
Yes.
Is that slang for like a leg or something?
No, it's
Just her actual spectacles.
yes.
Okay.
Well, expensive designer sunglasses. No word if Daniel or Maggie was involved, and that's Corrie News.
If you're looking for someone to push you down the stairs,
We've got
we're
plenty.
spoiled for choice.
I was trying to who pushed Adam down the stairs recently?
It was David Platt
Oh, it was David who pushed Adam down the stairs?
at his flat, yeah, in December 2024.
I remember that because it was funny.
He suspected Adam of having an affair with Shona
Oh, that's right. But it was actually Kit.
following a misunderstanding with a gift.
Yes. Yes. You don't see Shona pushing you down the stairs, David, do you?
David's got form for pushing people downstairs as well, vis-a-vis Gail.
He pushed Gail down the stairs?
He did.
I don't
She ended up
remember
on
that.
pills.
Oh,
Anyway.
who hasn't?
A trilogy of Corrie news items there, Helen. Thank you. I think the drugs are helping.
Yes.
And we will move seamlessly, a little floatily perhaps, into the feedback section I like to call Everyone's a Critic. Stephen writes, let the record show I enjoy the flashback sound effect. Sorry, Helen. Then again, I like all of your sound bites. That's the correct response, Stephen. Thank you very much. The eye is a lot easier to get through, says Helen last week. When you're talking about the chopsticks into the head, the eye or up the nose.
Yes.
Stephen says he needs your zombie novel. Insert gif of Invader Zim saying, I have a mighty need here. Thank you, Stephen. James Jarrah says, I was one of the eye-rolly people of this week. The repetitive intro was really getting on my nerves, and the story as a whole was difficult to follow. Friday's episode was very chaotic.
Yes.
It was quite a bit.
Yes.
Dear David says, Dear Thingamajig, what's his name? Mr. Osborne is a fanny.
Thank you.
I haven't really enjoyed this week an awful lot. I don't give a flying fuck who killed Theo, to be honest. I'm just glad he's gone.
Yes.
I'm sure it's not for everyone, but I do enjoy the mad randomness of Jodie's lies and doings. Me too. It's entertaining, I think, as there seems no rhyme or reason to it. Good to see Shona a bit, as I, for one, really like him. Well, that's where you and I differ then, David.
Oh.
Why do people keep telling Daniel he's a good teacher? He clearly is a terrible teacher.
In fairness, it's only Ken who tells him he's a good teacher.
I wonder if he has held on to one of Megan's cardigans. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you very much, David, Jim, Jarrah, and Stephen, for your correspondence this week. As always, welcome. Send us your thoughts and I'll probably read them out. Yeah, it's at thetalkofthestreet@gmail.com, or DMs are open at Corrie Podcast. Or we love it when people write actual letters to us. Send us your proper mail to the Talk of the Street, PO Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan, 48827. Please note that we reserve the right to edit feedback, but only in the interests of brevity. And now we'll podcast for coffee. We're drinking our own coffees this week.
I'm so sad.
Do you make the same noise when we're drinking our own coffees this week as you do when we've got a new friend of the podcast?
No, there's a slight difference. There's an indignant, and then there's the happy. Do you hear the difference?
I'm just going to say yes. I'm concerned about the indignant one.
One is lighter and airier and goes up, and one is very, very sad and indignant because I thought people liked us and goes down.
Dearie me. I am blushing, dear listener.
It's because you're British.
Yeah. Anyway, the Talk of the Street is and will always be free in your podcast provider and on the YouTubes. If you think our show is worth anything more than the time it takes to listen to it, and if you want to fund Helen's drug habit and show your appreciation, and if you want more weekly or monthly content, well, I can't think why. Check out the links in this episode description or head on over to corriepodcast.com. Click on Support the Pod, then Friend of the Podcast. For $2 a month, you get access to our weekly spoiler show, the Talk of the Street Spoiler Alert, and a monthly classic Corrie show, the Talk of the Street Classics. For April, we're talking about episode 668 from May the 10th, 1967, The Train Crash.
Bum, bum, bum.
And if that wasn't enough, you also get access to our Discord server, a shout out at the end of every podcast, and your name on the credits of the flagship show. If you prefer something a little less formal, though, you can always just buy us next week's coffee by clicking Buy Us a Coffee. And remember, you can always support the podcast for free and get us in front of new listeners by liking, subscribing, rating, and reviewing wherever you get your podcasts.
And if you're a book agent and you want to fulfill Stephen's dream of being able to read my book, give us a call. We have some other book ideas, don't we, Gav?
Do we?
Yeah.
Wait, oh, boy, do we. That's what I meant to say. Shall we dive in, my dear?
Yes, please.
All right, our first storyline this week is Meet the Driscolls.
Meet the Driscolls.
On Monday, it's bad news. Maggie is alive.
She's alive. She's lived.
She had a heart attack, but looks like she's going to make a full recovery.
So nobody pushed her over.
No, it's almost like my prediction of someone dying of natural causes almost came true.
Yeah. As was my maybe more than one of them dies almost came true.
I don't know how do people fall? Because she was lying on her back.
She was lying on her back. And you'd think that if she was having a heart attack, so she would probably be like this. You know, like this. This is the side your heart is on, isn't it?
For the benefit of our
I don't
listeners,
feel
Helen
anything.
is mimicking a heart attack. Yes, it's on your left.
Okay. So I was right. I don't know why I can't feel it. Anyway, you'd think that she would have fallen on her face
That's what I would think.
because the momentum is already there.
But if she fell on her face, we wouldn't be able to tell that was her.
Well,
And I had
don't-
trouble telling it was her anyway.
I don't know. I feel like I could identify
The back of Maggie's head.
Maggie's backside. Yes.
Because
There
of-
really
or
isn't
because
anybody
of the-
else shaped like Maggie on the show.
Because of the Made in Ireland tattoo on her buttock. No, that's round her
That's-
belly button.
That's Ireland's ass. Yeah, so, I mean, who else is shaped like Maggie on the show? Nobody. The closest would be Rita, but Rita has red hair.
Well, it's dark and you couldn't see.
No, the light was
The whole
shining
reason
on
why
her face.
why we knew it was Maggie, I think, is because of the jacket and the
collar.
trim and the collar of the jacket.
Anyway,
The official line is she's had a heart attack.
yes.
Ben's there with her with Ollie, but she's asking after Will, who had a big shock yesterday, and she tells Ben about her confrontation. Meanwhile, Will is avoiding everyone and has a new phone that he uses to leave a message on Megan's voicemail. Ben comes in and tries to talk to him, and Eva's there to learn that Megan confessed to getting an abortion. Will briefly forgets that this is supposed to have nothing to do with him, but then says it was none of his business, and he storms off. Will, I don't think it has, for the last couple of weeks, has been able to stay in a room for any more than 20 seconds. And then
Correct.
just storms back out again,
So he's a normal teenager.
I guess. Eva says she'd have appreciated a heads up about this, but Ben is in no mood to apologise and would have liked a heads up about Eva and her sister's fucking kidnapping Megan
That was
and
funny.
just making matters worse. On Tuesday, Ben's week gets worse when Melanie shows up to see Will. When Will goes off to school, she says that she wants him to go live with her, but Ben is having none of it and tells her about Megan aborting the baby, so Will needs to stay here. I'm
That
not too sure
doesn't
how
make any
those
sense.
those two things don't line up with
You
each
would
other.
think everybody in the family would be like, yeah, it's a good idea for him to, like, have some time away to let all of this die down. And also, what's wrong with Melanie? Why does the whole family hate her so much? Why are Maggie and Ben so opposed to Melanie having time with her own sons? None of this is ever explained.
There is some suggestion that Melanie never has time for anyone else apart from Melanie. I kind of got that
no.
hint.
Oh no, she's a human being? Really? Oh no, she's a woman with a job and also children?
There's a huge question mark over all of this. Like, what happened to Ben and Melanie's
Relationship,
marriage
yeah.
anyway? What's their backstory? Where's the flashback to that? Because we really have no idea. We just know that she's the evil ex-wife who's coming to tear up the family.
Right. 2 members of whom are from her own body.
It feels like whatever it is has to be fairly monumental because typically, not every time, but typically the mother gets the custody. So
Right.
what has happened here that she's been either comfortable walking away from that or has handed over responsibility to Ben or what has she done so that Ben was awarded the custody? It
Right,
seems a
and
very
also
strange situation.
Yeah, and even if one person has, physical custody, typically there is some sort of visitation arrangement, unless, like, the other parent has committed a crime or something.
But
It's
she
got to
hasn't
be really
been,
heinous.
She hasn't been mentioned really, if at all,
No.
since they came into the show at
Right.
Halloween, which was
Yeah.
like 6 months ago.
Yeah. I mean, you know that Eva's not their parent biologically.
Are you saying me?
Yeah,
Or
well,
you, the greater
collective,
you.
the collective, we know that.
Right.
But yeah, it's just weird how the show is handling this poor woman who just wants to protect her son.
But they do it in a really strange way where they have her, as we're about to find out, resorting to blackmail.
Right, but it feels like she has to resort to... Well, first she doesn't resort to blackmail. First she just says, I would like him to come home with me and spend some time with me. Not even spend some time with me for the rest of his life. Just spend some time with me. And everybody acts like it's the most ridiculous request ever.
Breaking up this family.
Yeah.
You know what Maggie's like about family? She kills them occasionally.
She's their mother. She's family.
Yeah.
Shut up, Ben. Or give us a reason why everybody hates Melanie.
So Melanie thinks that the abortion thing is more reason for Will to leave, and she's right. Ben goes for a walk to calm down as Eva kind of makes things worse by admitting that all this happened under their noses, but to their credit, no one else knew. This doesn't make it any better. So Melanie goes to the hospital to see Maggie, gives her grapes that she knows that she doesn't like, and then tells her to convince Ben to let Will leave, or she'll have to tell him about Alan's mystery fall to his death down that heavily carpeted stairwell.
Alan!
No!
Alan!
On Wednesday, Maggie's home.
Yeah, yay.
And she's barely got into her passive-aggressive routine to get people to look after her when Melanie comes in for a word. She's still of the opinion that Maggie will be able to convince Ben that it's a good idea to let Will go and live with her. She tells Maggie to invite her to dinner later and plant the seeds. This feels like a dreadful plan, but Maggie goes along with it. So later, at dinner, Will asks if Melanie is going back to Scotland tomorrow, and she invites him to go with her. He's got his exam, says Ben, making it clear that he doesn't want to talk about it anymore. Melanie wants to hear Maggie's opinion, and after briefly suggesting that a week might not be such a bad idea, a glare from Ben makes her change her mind and insist that Will's place is here with his family. Will, meanwhile, is pissed off that people are talking about him while he's in the room, so he fucks off somewhere else. And this eventually leaves Melanie and Maggie together, and once again Melanie thinks that Maggie can talk Ben round and gives her 24 hours, or Stairgate will become public knowledge.
Yes.
All through this, I'm thinking, why does Melanie think that Maggie's capable of this? And then I remember, Maggie is completely capable of this.
Right, yes. But here's the thing. Would Ben believe Melanie over Maggie?
Yeah, I don't
He
think...
seems to hate both of them equally.
I don't think he necessarily believes, and I don't know that Melanie really is concerning herself too much with that. She's just saying he'll know. Even if he doesn't believe it, the seed will be planted.
Right.
Which maybe is worth something. But really, that's all she's got, isn't it?
Right. And she just wants her kid, which is understandable.
Seems like Finlay doesn't give a fuck one way or the other about any of them.
No, except for Melanie for some reason.
Right.
Which makes it
Wait a minute.
weird.
I'm becoming increasingly Team Melanie in this.
Yeah. It's just weird that no reason is given on why these people treat this woman so badly when all she wants to do is spend time with her own children.
Yeah, because even Eva says, look, the two of us, we've never been
Right.
great pals.
Well, no.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah. You're
She's put herself in there. She's shown up to try to help.
right.
She's shown up through concern. She doesn't seem to have any ulterior motives.
No.
All she's caring about is her sons.
And remember when Ben got so mad at Ollie for calling her in the first place? Like, how dare you call that woman? That's my mother. Mm-hmm. There's something that they're not telling us, and it kind of ruins the story a little bit.
Does a little bit.
Yeah.
It seems that the show is trying to paint her out as being completely unreasonable
Right.
and this family destroyer.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm picking that up right, but that's the sense that it's given, the show's given me about her, is that she skulks about, she appears on a whim, she is always nipping Maggie's ear, and then she's an interloper. She's like an interloper,
yes.
and she just
Right.
in and then out.
Right, yes. She's an interloper in the lives of her own children.
Yes, that's it. That's how they seem to be portraying her.
Right, yeah.
But
Which is
the more you
ridiculous.
think about it, the more in the right she is.
Right.
Although they've forced her down these awful reasons
Right.
of black, because the show needs more blackmail at the moment.
Right, yes.
So on Thursday, Maggie's trying to think of a time when she entered a room and Melanie wasn't in it. At the bar, Melanie threatens again to tell Ben, but then relents when Maggie plays the health card one more time and gives her until the end of the day. And again, all these deadlines, I'm not sure, because they don't tell us
Right.
why, what happens at the end of the day. Why is the end of the day important? And we kind of get the idea
Yeah.
later on,
that
but
she needs to get back to
but-
back home, back to work.
at this point, it's just like she's got this arbitrary deadline.
Right.
So Maggie approaches Ben and suggests that Will going away with Melanie for a couple of months might be just a ticket. It'll get Will away from Megan, He'll get them brownie points with Melanie. Then after the dust has settled, they can call him home. Ben seems to think now that this is making an awful lot of sense. So on Friday, it's agreed then. Ben calls in Will and tells him that it would be a good idea if he would go live with Melanie for a while, and surprisingly for a boy who had plans to move to Paris, Will agrees. Melanie wants to leave immediately, but this is too soon for Will, who still has to pack, and he says that he'll get the train tomorrow. Melanie's agreeable to this, and then she thanks Maggie for her assistance, which makes Ben look at them both suspiciously, and then Melanie fucks off. Later, Will says that going away for a bit will let things calm down here, and he won't get mocked by his mates at school anymore, which is really what he's concerned about most. Ben and Maggie, though, are forlorn and insist that he can come back soon. Oh, just let the boy go. Later, Ben is given £100 in cash from the safe to Sean for some reason.
Yes, that again is never explained. It's like, is it just change for the till?
Ben says, here's £100. It's weird that some places just accept cash or something like that.
Right.
And Sean's like, yeah. I don't think we get any more information on it.
It is weird, and it does happen more frequently than you'd think. But yes, it's so does he have to go and buy some wine or something?
It looked to me like Sean was getting an advance on his wages or something, or had a bill to pay.
Except for that, it's weird. The cash. You know what? Didn't they run out of hot pots that day? So maybe he was going to get more ingredients for more hot pots.
They had one hot pot, yes.
Yes, they had one hot pot left, so they needed to make more.
For Todd, which I don't mention in the other storyline.
Oh, well, then it's a good thing that I thought of it here.
Or we could have just gone on with our lives without knowing the state of the hot pots.
This is what I'm thinking, that Sean has to go and get like carrots and beef and whatever else is in a hot pot.
There's no beef in
Crust.
a hot pot.
What's in a hot pot?
Fucking lamb, Helen.
I live in a country that doesn't eat an awful lot of lamb except on Easter.
Which just blows my mind and makes me so, so sad.
It makes you so sad that we don't eat baby animals more?
Yeah, lamb's great.
It is delicious. But still.
It's their fault for being so delicious.
Yes, it's their fault.
It's no bad. I'm so sorry. Sean wants to give fatherly advice to Ben about raising teenagers, but Ben has not got one fucking ounce of interest in discussing this with a guy whose son went to juvie.
Right.
And he isn't backward in letting Sean know this.
This is true.
As they go their separate ways, Ben has left the safe door open, which is really tough to believe that anyone's going to leave a safe door open.
Yeah.
Especially when there's somebody else in the room.
Right.
And later, though, it's Susie who hovers around the door and sees someone, presumably, pilfering more money from the safe, but we don't know who. And that's as far as we get with that storyline this week.
I think we have good guesses, though, don't we?
It's Will?
Yes. Well, maybe.
Oh, it is Will?
I think there's some speculation on that it might be Will, because I don't know why any of these adults thought, oh yeah, we could just put him on a train tomorrow and it'll be fine. This kid who...
You can get on a train.
Yeah, but is he gonna get off in the right place?
He might end up going a little bit more south than he's going to find Scotland geographically located. But this asks us to believe, well, there's a few things that we're in the dark about.
Uh-huh.
Where Megan is,
Right.
for a start.
Yes.
Is she in contact with Will on his new phone? We haven't seen anything that suggests that she is. Mm-hmm. When Ben suggests to him that he goes and stays with Melanie for a while, and he says yes, it feels like he does so immediately.
Yes, he does. Which is suspicious. Going the next day, suspicious.
But I don't know that he's smart enough to think on his feet like that, because as far as he knew, none of this was going to happen. He had no idea about going to Scotland. Well, just say Perth. You've said it once, you can say it again, it's fine. Sending them to Perth to live with Melanie. But he were asked to believe, in the nanosecond that he has to process this, thinks this is a great opportunity for me to actually run away to France.
Well, let's remember that earlier in the day, the idea of him moving to Scotland for a little while was already broached with him in the room, and he got upset about it. Remember? During the course of that time, it's quite possible for him to get in touch with Melanie. It says, Megan. Too many M names.
I know, far too many.
Too many. In between those two is plenty of time for him to get in contact with Megan, who is cunning enough to think, oh yeah, just tell him it's fine. That you're gonna go to Scotland, but instead you come to France with me. In between. So he's just basically biding his time. And if they hadn't said, hey, we all agree now, he probably would have said, hey, I've thought about it and I'd like to go back with Mom to Scotland. But not today. Tomorrow.
It's very important to me that I go by train on my own.
Yes.
Do you know, there was part of me that was just looking forward to him not being in the show for a little while. But this is all part of the drama, I guess.
Right. And if Megan is going to get her comeuppance, Will has to be there.
Yes. They're still pretty light on evidence against Megan.
Yeah, what was that thing that Kit said to the Broad Squad that they had new evidence? We don't ever find out what that is.
Still don't know.
No idea. And it can't possibly be the whole abortion thing because that was something that Maggie figured out and then told to bed.
Mm-hmm. So Kit's had some
information
that he revealed on the day of the wedding.
Right.
Which was April 23rd.
Yes. And Eva has not revealed this to the rest of the family.
No. That would be quite good to know.
And it's weird because Ben knows that she was at the cop shop because of the kidnapping thing. He's not curious as to why the three of them have been released.
I don't know. I don't think this is a function of the fact that we had for a week the same day repeated over and over and over again.
Right, yeah.
So as far as the timeline of Coronation Street is concerned, nothing happened.
Right. This is just like the next day or two.
Except it's not because we're in May, obviously.
Right.
So, but in terms of that, it's like there's this gap, there's this unfilled time where presumably you would think conversations like, well, what is the evidence that you've suddenly found against Megan out of nowhere?
Right.
But
we
obviously don't get it.
No.
Yeah, I like Melanie.
Yeah, me too.
She's going to go off her fucking nut when Will doesn't show up.
Yeah, if that's what happens.
If that's what happens. I think it's more likely that that does happen rather than... Oh dear. I'll act surprised when we do spoiler alert. But
see, this is why everybody should subscribe to Spoiler Alert so that you find out what I'm talking about.
I think we all know what you're talking about. But that does make more sense than just Will actually goes to Scotland.
Right.
Unless the actor needed a break from the show for whatever reason.
Yes.
Then that would make perfect sense.
Right, yes, especially if he did have the opportunity to go to Scotland, because who would not go to Scotland if they had the opportunity to
Perth
do so?
is glorious.
The whole country
the
is
gateway
glorious.
to the Highlands.
The whole
I'm not
country.
sure why I said it like that. There's bits of it that aren't.
I even like the ugly bits.
A
Like
storyline... A storyline for
That's a joke. I love Falkirk.
A story for Susie, do you think? Seems that Susie's getting a storyline.
But is she, or
Oh,
is she
no, she's
just
not. Well, she's getting
the
brought
one-
into a storyline, finally.
the one who has to say, Will stole money from the safe?
Oh, yeah, that's probably her involvement done.
Right.
Thanks, Susie. You can
But
fuck off now.
I'm glad that whoever it was not a threat to Susie, because that's what I was worried about. That was like Carl or something, who's not above beating up a child.
God, right. But it's nice for Susie to have something a little bit more than being a sassy child.
Right. We do enjoy her being a sassy child, though.
All right, we'll move on to Sister from the Same Mister. My award for most annoying character this week is Shona. On Monday, Shona has reported Jodie missing to the police, and David wonders why she chose not to mention the street toughs
Right,
who brought
yes.
in and twatted Sarah over the head.
Right, yes, because Wouldn't it be important for the police to know that there were some toughs looking for your sister and now your sister's missing?
Yeah.
Doesn't that feel like that would be the obvious thing to tell the police?
I'm going to say that evidence would be vital to their investigation.
Right. And I do not understand the whole, no, we can't tell them about the street toughs because then we'd be in danger. Mm-hmm. What makes you think you're not in danger now, Shona?
Right, exactly. Shona says they don't know that she had anything to do with that, and Sarah visits later and speaks with David, who confirms that he hadn't told Shona about Jodie's unwanted approach, and if Jodie has decided to do a runner, he's not about to lose any tears about it. We should say that Sarah recovered from being knocked unconscious
Very, very quickly. And is no longer... I don't even know if it was head wound of the week last week.
It was head wound of the week.
Was it?
And now I'm regretting it.
No, because you'd think that Theo probably has some sort of head wound as well that we just don't get to see.
Well, then it can't be head wound of the week.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, she didn't even
'Cause
get
didn't
the
we-
obligatory getting put into a medically induced coma. We didn't get a chance to see her with the bandages around her
Right,
head.
yes.
And God damn it, when
And her
people have...
hair! Her hair has not been shorn, which one would assume that they would have cut all her hair off to get to the head wound.
Because the head wound, just before they go into a medically induced coma, they have to decide that there's a bleed in the brain and they have to release the pressure.
Right, yes.
But
And then they have to give them stomach cancer.
I was wondering if she got hit in the neck then. Maybe that would have knocked her out
It didn't...
on your medulla oblongata. That's actually, I think, more likely to just kill you.
Right, yes. At the very least, give you memory loss, because isn't that where a lot of memory is back there?
Oh, that's where all your memories live, Helen.
I feel like you're mocking me.
No. No, but she's fine.
Yeah, she's fine. She's like, oh, I still got a little bit of a headache. We don't even get to see Kit at her bedside, weeping as she's in a medically induced coma.
No, he's about to head off to the hospital when he bumps into her on the street.
Right.
What the fuck are you doing here?
Right?
With your sheepskin jacket on. Anyway.
It's a
On
little
Tuesday.
warm for sheepskin, isn't it? And again, it was freezing here the other day, so never mind.
Yeah. On Tuesday, Shona is still up to high do about Jodie disappearing, and when she decides to go over everything that they know one more time, David is just worn down and forced to confess what happened. He does a decent job of explaining that Jodie deliberately tricked him into bed, and while Shona finds that hard to believe, she believes the story in general, which prevents the pitch of David's voice going hypersonic.
True.
Then Kit comes in to confirm that Jodie's blood was also found in with Sarah's, which means that her blood is in the system, in the police system.
Yes.
And nobody wonders, well, how did that get there?
Because she was kidnapped, remember? And she was in that accident. She was in Corriedale.
She left the hospital, I think, before she got any treatment, didn't she?
Well, I feel like that's something that would have been done in the ambulance on the way.
But how does that get into the police system?
Well, because I'm sure the accident was a police matter.
I don't think they're going to take blood samples of people that were injured in a road traffic accident and store in the police database, or am I too trusting?
Oh, my sweet summer child. You live in America now, and you still trust the
but
police?
This isn't America, though.
That's true.
Shona's too busy assuming that Jodie has been kidnapped to question any of this. On Wednesday, Shona is going to be frustratingly focused on how Jodie's blood was found in the living room, is going to mention it over and over again, and will be determined to get the police to seriously look for her, but will be reluctant to tell them about the haulage people. And I can't remember when 2 and 2 was put together about the haulage people. When did they know it was the haulage people?
Because Jodie told Shona that the dad was her violent ex-boyfriend.
The wee lassie's dad.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. But how did that connect them to the haulage people?
Isn't he a haulage person?
He is, but that's not mentioned anywhere. Nobody says that those street toughs worked for so-and-so who runs that haulage company that I was looking at. That wasn't a conversation that was had. I don't think anybody's mentioned the street toughs that dad and the haulage company in
Well,
the
they
same
know
sentence.
the street toughs. The street toughs were coming to get the little
Yes,
thing for the dad.
yes. But at no point does anybody say that the dad has anything to do with the haulage company.
Maybe the wee lassie did when she was sitting there talking
I
everybody's
don't
ear
think
off.
so. I don't think so. But at this point in it, everyone is saying that the street toughs are part of the haulage company. In which case, I've got an idea. Go to the haulage company.
Right? There you go. It's a good idea. You should be writing for the show.
If there was mention of the haulage company in terms of the dad and the wee lassie and the street toughs, if there was a line of dialogue that brought all those things together into the same universe, then please let me know, because I don't think I've heard anyone mention the haulage company. It only came up when David was joking with Jodie about applying for a job there.
Right.
That's the only time I think it was being mentioned.
Yeah. Maybe Melanie works there.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? A nice little connection, because everything's connected.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking about the things we don't know must be connected somehow. And they're going to release it all at once, and we'll all be like, aha!
This makes all the sense.
Right.
David finally fesses up that Jodie left him a weird voicemail, and Shona is fucking furious that David could have held on to this information for so long. David insists it's Jodie's games and he wasn't trying to get into her sister's underpants. Shona insists that they take it to the police.
Yeah, this is something for the police?
Mm-hmm.
But the other stuff is not?
Outside, it seems that someone Jodie shaped is spying on David and Shona as they bicker on their way to the car.
Right. Hidden behind a blurry screen.
Shona nearly running over an actor in a non-speaking role. Bloody hell, says David, watch out, you're going to kill her. That was quite funny.
That was funny.
At the cop shop, Kit is very frustrated that David's playing silly buggers by holding on to potentially vital information, and takes custody of David's phone for forensics and for a good old snoop.
Yeah.
David and Shona remember that Harper's in hospital, so decide that they might as well go and see her.
Right.
But she's getting a mani-pedi and they have to wait in the waiting room. And so David tells Shona about the police taking him seriously and holding on to his phone. Shona decides to give Jodie another call, and she leaves a message saying that she doesn't care about the David stunt. She just wants to know that Jodie's safe. And then we see Jodie sitting on the swings at the precinct, bald as brass, while people are getting stabbed round about her. She smirks as she deletes the message and then continues her wee sit in the swings in broad daylight, not a care in the world.
Oh, she's wearing a hood, so she's invisible.
On Thursday, Shona is still going on about her bloody sister. Her sister that she's known for
Who just came back into her life.
4 months.
Yeah. Yet not a word about her father in some sort of institution.
Right.
We've completely forgotten about that storyline. He's hanging out with that lady that Ken was supposed to be dating that one time. Remember her?
Only because you keep on going on about it.
It still makes me mad.
I can tell. Take one of your gummies. And she's thinking about calling the cops again. For now, though, she settles on a text to Jodie, which Jodie receives and reads, but somehow doesn't send a read receipt. Oh well. She's hanging out at the precinct again and nearly bumps into Asha, which should be a clue that hiding out at the precinct isn't that great an idea. But the message, "We miss you," puts a weird smile on Jodie's face.
Right, yes. Her smiling is so weird this week, isn't it?
Lots and lots of weird smiling.
Weird and disturbing.
Impossible to read, I would say. She heads back to number 8 and must know that no one's home because she's straight in, makes for the fridge, and she starts to devour a sausage roll, but she's forced to abandon it. There's no way in the world I'm abandoning a sausage roll.
Well, it's straight from the fridge. It's not even warm.
Oh, sometimes there's nothing better than a cold sausage roll.
That's what she said.
I'd be taking it with me. She somehow has the willpower to just leave it on the breakfast counter.
Right, which is weird. She should have taken it with her because it's made to seem like she hasn't eaten since she left.
Probably hasn't.
Yeah.
Where's she been? Living rough in the
lurking on the swing
in the precinct
for like 3 days.
So she abandons it when Shona and David come in. And they surely come in soon enough to have seen Jodie come into the house, but oh well. Jodie hides on the other side of the back door, and here Shona suggests that David was right, and maybe they should tell the cops about the street toughs from the hauling company, and they agree to wait until tomorrow for no good reason. Should we tell them this vital piece of information?
Yes.
Let's just wait until tomorrow. Oh, and Lily gets the blame for leaving the sausage roll on the counter.
Right, yes, because Shona at first blames David, and David says, do you honestly think I would ever abandon a sausage roll?
Which is the correct answer.
Right, which Shona says fine. And then he says he's going to feed it to David, the dog, who's about the size of a sausage roll.
Even if there's a bite taken out of a sausage roll, if it's left on the counter...
And it's human teeth.
I'm eating that sausage roll. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. On Friday, Jodie just shows up,
Yep.
walks into number 8, Shona's beside herself and asks where she's been. Jodie has been kidnapped and held in a lockup for days with a bag over her head.
Uh-huh.
David comes in and he's less than impressed to see her back and isn't moved by her story, less so when she can't help in who twatted Sarah over the head. Shona gets defensive about Jodie, but David says if the haulage guys come back for her once, they can come back for her again, and her presence is just putting everyone at risk. Kit is another one who's less than impressed with Jodie, and she's altered her story for him to say that she was on a 3-day bender getting fucked 6 ways to Sunday from some bloke that she met in the pub. In this version of the story, she's still no use in explaining who twatted Sarah over the head.
Right.
Kit looks like he doesn't believe a word of it, but the case is closed, and this leaves poor Sarah upset that she still has no idea who twatted her over the head.
Correct.
Poor Sarah. That's as far as we get with that.
How is the case closed over who twatted Sarah on the head with the discovery of Jodie? How does that close that case at all?
Because there's no evidence, there's no leads.
It just happened this week, essentially. You're going to close the case? You're going to be like, oh, well, no, never mind, Sarah.
Nobody says that the case is closed
We're not
apart
going
from me.
We're not going to find the person because Jodie's back. So it couldn't have been Jodie or the Tufts because Jodie says that she went on a bender. It's weird that she says this to Kit, though, because you would think that Kit and Shona would be talking and realizing that they got two different stories.
They know that Jodie's not going to say that
Did I
she
miss
saw
something?
Sarah's body.
No. But she should be able to say, I got kidnapped again. Because Kit knows she's been kidnapped once before.
She can't say that she's been kidnapped because then the street toughs will come back for her, and she promised that she wasn't going to give them any more trouble.
That's bullshit.
That is bullshit, yes.
Bullshit.
And Shona's just falling for this, and this is partly the reason why she's the most annoying character, is because she's so hyper-focused on doing the wrong thing about this, like not going to the police, not telling them about the street toughs.
And not making any sense.
No.
It's like the show remembered that she has brain damage from being shot in the stomach.
It's nice that they remember that.
Yeah.
And we've kind of just allowed David's point to be skimmed over, where he's going on about the fact that if Jodie's there...
Right.
And people are continually after Jodie...
Right.
And given the flash drive back hasn't seemed to help that situation.
No.
Then Jodie being there puts everyone in danger.
Right.
That is skimmed over.
Which is what Shona was saying, like, no, we can't tell them about the street toughs because that puts Lily in danger. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
No. And just for the record, I'm fine with Lily being in danger. Give her something to cry about, fuck's sake.
Oh, dear.
I still quite like this.
A part of me likes it, and a part of me is like, this is just too chaotic. And I feel like they're not going to be able to pull this off, and it'll end stupidly.
I think all signs are pointing to stupid, but
because
I'm quite enjoying the ride to get there.
Let's not forget that we were all intrigued about the police conspiracy dealing with Becky and the boss, whose name I can't remember anymore.
Costello.
We're like, oh, this is really cool. This is like some weird conspiracy and everything, and I wonder how they're going to resolve this. And then they resolved it stupidly.
Yes.
Remember when we were like all excited? Well, excited isn't the right word. Remember when we were intrigued and impressed that the show was going to handle something as serious as conversion therapy? And then that ended stupidly with Theo splatted on the ground.
Is that stupid?
It's stupid because we didn't get the storyline we wanted.
No.
They turned it into something else. It ended with the abusive guy dying of a heart attack off screen. A youthful man in his early 40s dying of a heart attack off screen. It was the hatred that did him
There
in.
was just the pure hatred in his heart.
So, I don't have much faith. But it is kind of fun to watch Jodie be a weirdo.
Being a weirdo and lying for no good reason.
Right.
And sometimes lying for good reason, but
Mostly not a good reason.
But it is the looks and the smile. And when David said to her that the Jolly Green Giant was investigating this, she looked like she shot herself for some reason. It seemed to surprise her that the police were investigating her disappearance. She looked concerned when David mentioned
Right,
that.
yeah.
Or maybe it was just...
I think, and that's why she came back.
Or was it a look of disappointment that David seemed to be unfriendly towards her? I'm not sure, but that's part of the reason why I find her character interesting. And yes, it probably will fail to live up to the expectations that I have for it, but at the moment, her demeanour, her behaviour, having a character that you just can't predict what they're going to do next is chaotic.
Yes.
But it's still entertaining to some degree.
It just feels...
And it gets me believing that she was kidnapped. I'll have to keep on reminding myself that she wasn't.
Oh, dear. Yeah, definitely no microdosing for you. Yeah, but again, just like with the whole, what's the deal with Melanie? I feel like at this point, we should know a little bit more about why Jodie is cuckoo bananas.
Constantly getting... Well, I'm going to say constantly getting kidnapped, but she's not constantly getting kidnapped.
No, she was kidnapped once by the guy in the other show who's just done with it now. He's so over this.
Can't blame him.
No.
All right, we'll move on. Sucks to be a Webster. Didn't get an awful lot of that
Just a little
this
bit.
week. On Monday... It's bad news. Carl is alive.
Boo!
Recovering from his second cardiac arrest this year.
And a punctured lung.
Carl is, 40?
Ish.
2 heart attacks. That's good going.
Well, let's all remember the abusive Noah guy died of a heart attack, and he was slightly younger than Carl off screen.
The plot convenient heart attack is impressive.
It is.
Debbie and Ronnie look on at an unconscious Carl from outside his room. Ronnie dinging a call from Tyrone and tells Debbie it was a text from Ryan with good wishes.
Yes.
Why is Ronnie being so mysterious about getting calls from Tyrone and saying that it was Ryan?
I wonder.
Oh, so transparent. Ronnie tries to talk about the situation with Theo, but Debbie doesn't care.
Debbie's like, why the fuck do I care about that idiot dying?
When my
He's a
son's in
terrible
here,
person.
all she cares about is her Carl. Later, she's in the room with him,
Unfortunately.
who is walking but is groggy. He can't remember anything about what happened, but reckons that Kev was right, that this is karma catching up with him, and he deserved it. He also reckons that Debbie was right, and he is unlovable. He tells Debbie that she means the world to him, and that he loves her, and she whispers that she loves him too. And Ronnie, who's standing at the door listening to all this, is utterly despondent. On Tuesday in the pub, Debbie gets a text from Carl promising to turn over a new leaf, and Ronnie is unimpressed, saying that Carl doesn't have the capacity for change. This pisses on Debbie's salad a little bit here, and she reckons that Ronnie knows more than he's letting on, so he confesses to finding Carol's body and being the one to take him to hospital, which makes him sound quite gallant until Debbie reminds us that Carl was dumped in the parking lot. He'd have died if I hadn't found him, Ronnie insists, but Debbie has already stomped off in a huff. And that's all that happens in that this week.
Yeah, not
very
much.
light on the Carol stuff.
Very light, but disappointing that Debbie once again cares about this piece of shit.
Yeah. I think going into this week, we were not sure by any manner of means, but
No. Hopeful.
certainly hopeful that Carl would be dead.
Yeah, because he was flatlining the last time we saw him. Mm-hmm. And now he's like slowly waking up. So disappointing.
Yeah, and the last that we saw Sarah, she was sparked out on the floor after getting twatted on the head, and
Right.
she'd made a full recovery.
Right.
And Maggie was looking dead on the ground, and then
Right.
she makes a reasonably quick recovery.
Right.
Although something that we probably should have mentioned in
It's Maggie
that
at least
storyline,
looks haggard.
she looks really, she has that hospital look about her.
Yes, she does.
So I don't know if that was good makeup or good lack of makeup, but it really worked.
Yeah.
It really did give her this
Somehow
look
they
of somebody.
made her shrink
Yeah.
because she looked very small in the hospital bed
And very tired.
and frail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He does a good job there.
Yes.
I'm a bit disappointed as well that Debbie has chosen to forget why she wanted Carl to leave in the first place. But
Right.
she was always wanting him to be successful
Right.
when he left.
Right.
Go and do well, she said to him. Be
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Take this money and do
Take
something.
this $2,000 and be well.
Take this £5 note and loose change and go and make something of your life.
Right.
She didn't want him to end up in hospital or die or nearly die.
Right. But still, just because somebody nearly dies, or even when somebody dies, that doesn't make them a better person.
No.
And it doesn't make them a person. That's not a reason to forgive terrible people.
No.
Almost dying or dying.
No, and it feels very much like Debbie has already gone beyond the forgiving thing.
We haven't forgiven Margaret Thatcher yet, and we never will.
Hold on, let me just double check. Yep.
Still deed.
Still deed. The Tyrone mention is interesting.
It is. Don't we see, doesn't Tyrone like stick his head in at some point? Or sees Ronnie at the Rovers at some point or
No,
something?
that's in another storyline where Tyrone shows up. But for here, you wonder what those two are in. Well, you don't wonder about what those two are in cahoots about, because I think it's kind of obvious what those two are in cahoots about.
Correct.
Ronnie hates Carol and Tyrone hates Carol because Tyrone was knocked over by Carol and he did a runner. And also, Carl is determined to push Tyrone's buttons as much as he possibly can, calling him a coward and stuff. So you wonder how much Tyrone had an involvement in all of this.
Right.
One wonders.
One wonders.
I don't know that Tyrone's the sort of person that would...
Drop a car on somebody?
Right. I think he'd do it accidentally.
Carl took Tyrone's legs away from him for an extended period of time.
But Tyrone must know that if he did drop a car on Carol, the chances of killing him were quite high. It wasn't like he was dropping him on his legs. He dropped it on his chest. Which again must have made those chest compressions very tender.
Yes.
But it's interesting. It's only flash that we get of that. This is the show being subtle.
Yeah.
Tyrone's name up on a cell phone
Subtle.
and Ronnie lying about it being Ryan.
Subtle as a heart attack.
What?
You've never heard that? Something as subtle as a heart attack?
No.
Oh. I thought that was a saying that everyone had, but I guess not.
The simile of choice for me for subtle as is a brick.
A brick is also not subtle.
No, it isn't.
No, especially if it's flying at your head.
Exactly.
Yes. Heart attacks also don't tend to be subtle.
No.
No.
Our penultimate storyline tonight.
Already? Wow.
Daniel is a Faniel. On Thursday. Happy Bertie's got a new head date, everyone.
Huzzah!
Not that Daniel notices. He's too busy complaining about Crawshaw, who had the nerve to suggest that he take some time off. He passes Tyrone in the street, who's keen to tell him that Hope positively bound to school today with her poetry homework. She can't wait to show it off.
Yes.
And true enough, in the corridor at school, Hope finds Daniel and asks him if he read her excellent poem yet. He says that he did, and then accuses her of stealing it off the internet or getting AI to write it.
Right, yes.
You can't say that, says Hope. I'd stake my reputation on you stealing that, says Daniel, which opens himself up to Hope, reminding him that his reputation is in the shitter, and she
Right.
mutters under her breath about Daniel being so stupid that he didn't realise that his girlfriend was fucking kids.
And those are Hope's exact words.
Daniel overhears this, so when Hope comes back from lunch, he kind of pounces Puma-like on her in the corridor again and thrusts a pen and a pad at her and orders her to write a poem. If you're a fucking poet, write a poem.
Right here? Right now?
This
Says Hope.
This is not how my creativity works, explains Hope.
That's not how anyone's creativity
No.
works.
Write a poem under duress?
Right, in this hallway where the sound is terrible. I don't know why the sound was so terrible in the school this week.
I didn't really notice.
It was so echoey.
I can't say that I noticed.
Well, maybe it was just on the big TV.
On the big telly.
Yes.
So, Daniel insists. He mumbles some mumbo-jumbo at her.
Right.
About how being creative is part of discipline or
Right.
something, which means...
spontaneity and
Right. So, fair enough.
This is proof of the old saying, those who can do, those who can't teach.
And those who can't teach Jim. So, leaning on her pal's back, she writes, Mr. Osborne's fucking thick, 'cause he didn't know his girlfriend's sick, and fucking kids. Daniel screams at her, lunges for the pad, scares everyone in the corridor. Hope claims assault and promises Crawshaw is going to hear about this.
Yep.
Daniel is drowning his sorrows in the pub with Ken, worried about tomorrow's meeting with Crawshaw, when Tyrone comes in with the sole intention of telling Daniel that he's a fucking fanny and a prick for telling Hope that she was a cheat first and then assaulting her. He reminds Daniel that he's a prick and a fanny and then leaves the pub without buying anything.
Yes.
Just walks into the pub
Well done.
and then walks back out the pub.
Well done, Tyrone. Very Grandpa Simpson, but a slightly longer.
He didn't really touch her.
He pulled something out of her hand, and he lunged at her to
He
do
definitely
that.
lunged at her and screamed as he was lunging at her.
Right, yeah, which is a form of assault. Let's be honest.
Oh, any unwanted
It's
contact can be.
Verbal assault, and also he's made a serious accusation against this child. And this is a child, unlike Sam, who's going to stick up for herself and say, yeah, no, actually, I did turn that paper in, asshole. Sort of thing. This is Hope we're talking about here. Do you think she wrote the original poem?
No, but it doesn't matter.
I think she did. I think she wrote the original poem, and I bet it was brilliant.
It's the fact that Tyrone is almost proud of her, looking forward to going to school to talk about her poetry homework.
Right, yes. And that it seems like she actually worked on it. Because, Tyrone's like, oh, she worked really hard on this, which makes me think that she actually worked really hard on it and didn't just cut and paste.
Yeah, I think it's funnier if she didn't. If Daniel was right all along. But Daniel doesn't have any proof of this.
No.
If he had been able to find the original source or put it through something to say, was this written by AI?
Right.
And get some kind of percentage threshold of confidence that this was written or not written by AI. But he doesn't.
Which exists, yeah. He says you either stole this or it's AI, maybe. Daniel, go check and make sure that it's one or the other before you start accusing students of things.
Because if you're wrong and this isn't Hope, you're making sure that this student never writes another poem again as long as they live.
Exactly right.
Hope is fucking brilliant in this.
Yes, she is.
She's so good.
I-
She's
I-
taken
I-
no shit from him whatsoever.
I love the dirty limerick she's writing about Daniel and Megan.
Yep.
It's so Hope to do that.
And Daniel just walks into this.
Right.
He gives
What
her
did he
all the
expect to happen?
ammunition that she needs.
He's known this girl since she was little, before she was a student of his. He should know better.
Yep. She takes no prisoners.
She does not.
If you're Daniel and you have this cloud hanging over you about the whole Megan thing,
Right.
you're keeping a low profile as much as possible.
Right,
You're not
yeah.
putting yourself in a situation
You're
where
not-
you're almost begging for someone to mock you
You're not
publicly.
You're not antagonizing a student who is arguably smarter than you.
Right. Oh, so good. On Friday, Daniel is in the mood for a good bit of old-fashioned shouting. He shouts to Ken that he's been suspended, and when Ken thinks this might be for the best and he should go on a holiday, he shouts that he's guilty until proven innocent, he's been treated like a criminal, and his kids are going to think that he's got something to hide. Oh, fucking give it a rest, says Ken, and he tells Daniel to go for a walk. Fuck walks, says Daniel, and he goes for a walk. He goes for a walk to Adam, where he shouts at him for a bit, when Adam suggests that they can go away on holiday together as they're both pariahs on the street.
Right, yes.
Daniel
I
thinks
don't know
that
how Alia would feel about that, but that's whatever.
Daniel thinks that people hate Adam because of the George stuff and the email stuff, forgetting about the representing Megan stuff.
Right?
You'd have thought that that'd have been at the forefront of Daniel's
Right,
mind.
but it's not because Daniel's responsible for that.
Whereas people think that he's protecting a pedo. Ken and Bertie walk into the middle of this, and Bertie quietly observes that Daddy is always angry. After he's calmed down, Daniel goes to number one and announces that he's going away to the lakes for a few days to a B&B, and he dumps Bertie on Ken. But in reality, Daniel just goes back to his flat that has an uncovered window onto the stairwell, let's remember, closes the blinds on the window on the street, then cracks open a bottle of whiskey and gets down to some seriously aggressive masturbation. Staycation, y'all. And
Yeah.
that's as far as we get with that. Am I meant to be sympathetic towards Daniel here?
It kind of feels like they're trying to make us sympathetic for him, but we're not, because it's Daniel, and you just saw what he did to a kid.
Yep. And the way that he spoke to his dad, and the way that he spoke to his
Uncle.
Uncle Adam.
Right, yes. And also the way that he spoke to both of those men in front of his son, who was confused because there was no woman in the room. Why is Daddy shouting?
There's got to be a blonde woman somewhere in here. Where is she? That should have been Bertie's line. That would have been brilliant.
Yes.
All right, come out. Come out, blonde woman.
I know you're here wearing my dead mom's cardigan. Whew.
Daniel, I think, is the character is hoping to be, maybe hope is the wrong word, portrayed as a victim himself here. And I suppose he was hoodwinked, manipulated, misled,
Oh, poor baby.
as much as, well, not as much as anybody else, but he was to a certain extent.
He's a grown-ass man.
He's manipulated and lied
Gaslit
to
and lied to.
because I think he doesn't want to, but he wants to believe that this blonde woman, who I think is, I don't want to be uncharitable here, but I think he'd be punching, is interested in him.
Name one relationship Daniel has been in where he wasn't punching.
No, absolutely.
So it's believable.
That he's that guy, and
Who always pulls women that everybody say, why is she interested in you? Yes.
But he-
Daisy,
but he-
Sinead, Bethany even.
but he, even with her chunky jewellery, but he recognised that in himself when he was talking to Adam, and then seemed to be curiously interested in Jodie in the bistro. So I don't know that he's learning any lessons here, and yet the show wants us to be sympathetic, I think. The show wants us to be sympathetic, but I think the show also wants us to recognise that he's a obnoxious know-it-all and the apple doesn't fall far from the tree
Correct.
kind of thing.
Yes.
But I'm absolutely on Hope's side through
All of it.
this.
The whole thing.
And
Finally, a woman sticks up for herself around Daniel.
running to the old, well, I guess I'm going to climb into a bottle then.
Right.
That's shorthand for any number of mental turmoils.
Right.
Doesn't do very much for me. And even less so when it's Daniel sitting in the dark, drinking whiskey.
When he's supposed to be at the lakes.
He's only got one bottle there. He's supposed to be away for a few days.
Right. It's the
What are you going to do tomorrow
weekend.
after you've
Right.
drank that?
Arguably, he has bottles of other stuff
Maybe.
socked away. But does he have enough food? And where's his car? Unless he was supposed to take the train. Because Daniel has a car, right? Pretty sure Daniel has a car.
See, anytime you mention Daniel and car, I just think of him driving
Right.
Debbie's car.
Right.
So he can drive, just arguably not very well whilst drunk.
Well, yeah.
All right, our final storyline tonight is Theo No Pulse. Oh, too soon? On Monday, it's the morning after the big week before and everyone is in shock. Kit is round at Eileen's chatting to Todd and there are plenty of opportunities for Todd, Summer, George and Glenda to look shifty as fuck. Kit initially is more interested in exploring the possibility that Theo jumped from the scaffolding deliberately, but Mary refuses to entertain this, insisting that Theo was murdered because everyone hated him. Thanks, Mary. Todd
Maybe it was an accident. Maybe he just fell over like Sinkhole Jerry.
Sinkhole Leo?
Yes.
Sinkhole Jerry. Ridiculous. Todd is nervous that Kit thinks
Yes,
that...
because Leo is a much more believable name than Jerry
Well, it is.
for a sinkhole guy.
Todd is nervous that Kit thinks that this is what happened, that he killed Theo. Kit insists that he's just asking questions here. I'm just asking questions. Outside, Kit sees Sarah talking to Gary and points out that he was just about to go visit Sarah in the hospital, but it seems that she's been discharged less than 12 hours after being knocked unconscious.
With a head wound.
Kit is keen to chat to Gary about what he saw and maybe he saw something happen to Theo's van. Gary becomes slightly defensive and Sarah pulls Kit away before he can get any further information.
But not like that.
Back at the house, Todd suddenly remembers Millie and Miles and Danielle and worries that no one's told them. Even if they haven't, I don't think it's your job to tell them, Todd.
No.
Because they all hate you.
Right, yes.
George is sure the police would have done that, but offers to double check. Todd has beaten himself up about the guilt he feels for missing Theo, even though he was pretty sure Theo was trying to kill him yesterday. Hint, he was. Given his choices, Todd says that he would rather have Theo with him right now than anyone else who's currently there, and suddenly everyone seems to become far more interested in looking at their shoes. Todd goes to the pub for some alone time, but it isn't long before Summer and George go get him, telling him that he'll have to say far more outlandish shit to their faces before they'll give up on him. At the cop shop, Kit is surprised to see Swain, but she's postponed her honeymoon because Betsy's sad. The pathology report has come through though, and the injury to Theo's head is not consistent with a fall. Theo was moidered. Swain seems reluctant to believe this, but acknowledges that everyone hated Theo. He was a psychopath. Kit wonders if Todd snapped, and after months of physical, mental and sexual abuse, who could blame him? During this, we see a wee montage
I'm
of...
glad that they remember the sexual abuse
Yeah.
and the financial abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kudos to the show for remembering that those things also happened.
Yeah.
And that they are illegal.
During this, we see a wee montage of all the players, Todd crying as he holds his I'm the boss apron, Gary watching the CCTV footage of him wrecking the van, Summer looking through her journal where she's written, I killed Theo, in very angry-looking black lettering, George reading the story about Theo's death in the Gazette, Danielle leaving flowers at the scaffolding where Theo landed. On Tuesday, Christina's doing laundry when she finds blood on George's cream jumper, and she quickly has to hide it when Swain comes in to question Todd.
Would you call that cream?
It was light-coloured.
It's like a grey, beige thing.
You've just described cream. Well done.
No, cream
Not
is
only
more
does she
yellow
mention
white.
putting a washing on, she also talks nervously about dry cleaning. Christina is doing everything in her power to be suspicious as fuck.
Right, yes, while holding a shirt.
She makes her excuses, but overhears that Theo's death has now been treated as murder.
Moiter.
Swain is a bit of an asshole to Todd as she questions him and doesn't seem to trust him or his reasons for not getting a taxi to the airport. His forgotten phone did indeed have his tickets on it, although he probably could have still got on the flight. He tells her the last he saw of Theo was when he was hiding in the precinct. Meanwhile, Christina's quizzing George at the Undertaker's, and he's happy to confirm that it's Theo's blood that's on his jumper. I think we're all expecting George to look sheepish as
Right.
Christina points out that he had blood in his jumper. But
Right.
It's blood.
Yeah.
Well, whose blood is it? Oh, it's
It's
Theo's. It came from the scuffle in the flat, of course.
Right, yeah. Of course.
Christina asks him if he left the house when she left to go pick up Todd, and he kind of confirms that he went for a walk to clear the air, to
Right.
clear his head.
Right, when someone specifically told you not to leave the house.
This doesn't look good, says Christina, and this is overheard by Swain, who's just wandered in. George is taken in for questioning, and he recounts the events of the day, which were all true as far as we know. Swain, though, thinks it's weird that George went for pints and left Todd on his own, and that he just sat about doing nothing when Christina went to get Todd. George admits that he also went for a walk, but he didn't see Theo, and he didn't see anyone. George is kept in the cop shop overnight, and Christina thinks this is weird. Todd assures her that George is innocent and says everyone knows it. But everyone doesn't know it, says Christina. He was acting well dodgy. The only person who knows who killed Theo is the moiderer. I'm less than impressed by Swain's questioning techniques here.
No, yeah, it's terrible.
Don't know why they've got her being so demeaning.
I think she's just grumpy because she's missing her honeymoon.
Is that why?
I don't know why either one of these people are on this particular case.
Because they're the only ones that we know.
There's that.
Where's the one with the fringe? Where's the one with the fringe?
Right, and where's that guy who was 100% sure that Bernie had killed Mal?
Well,
Where's that guy?
he's not solving anything.
He exists, and he was like
And he
brought
was
back
named.
in. Yeah, he's named.
Was it Browning? Was it DC Browning?
Something like that.
Green and Browning?
Ugh.
That doesn't sound great.
No, it doesn't. But, I mean, Kit is in a relationship with someone who, despite the fact that she was twatted on the head, would be on the suspect list if she hadn't been twatted on the head.
Kit is in a relationship with a woman who is best friends with the deceased's husband.
Right, yeah. He shouldn't be on this case.
No, neither of them should be. When
No.
they're neighbours with
Right.
all
Exactly.
the suspects and the deceased.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, she seems very keen to be trying gotchas on them, and maybe that's what you have to do when you're investigating a murder. But because she knows the people that she's asking, it just seems a really strange tactic. And that's probably why it shouldn't be her, and it shouldn't
Right.
be Kit who are doing the interviews.
Right.
Because
It should
they
be the
know them
fringe
too
lady
well.
and Browning. Mm-hmm. If that's his real name.
Abney, wasn't it? D.S. Abney was the one with the
With a fringe.
fringe.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, well,
Or-
George...
There's that guy who's always there. If it's not Kit and Lisa, there's that guy who's always there with one or the other one who never says anything.
Yeah, well, he can't just
That
write
guy.
down his questions, and they're not going to pay him. On Wednesday, while Christina's getting used to breakfast... While George is getting used to breakfast in jail, Summer is fretting at Eileen's with Todd and Christina, concerned that George was kept in overnight. Todd doesn't think it's anything to worry about. It'll just be standard procedure whenever there's a murder to quiz the local undertaker. Privately, Christina's still worried about George's guilt, but Todd doesn't even want to consider it. At the cop shop, a tired George is getting frustrated with Swain's questioning. She presents him with a photo of a horrible pink brooch that apparently was found in Todd's flat, and it was covered in blood. It's the one Summer was wearing, but it's difficult to see
Is it?
against it because of the colour of the top that she was wearing. But
She
yes,
was wearing a pink elephant brooch?
yes, was that an elephant? It looked like a piece of bacon.
Pretty sure it was an elephant. Seemed a little childish for Summer. It
Oh,
was
she
like,
was wearing it.
It was like a pink elephant with like an umbrella.
Is that what you saw? It did look like a Rorschach test.
Well, let's not forget, I watched it on the big telly.
You did. Such extravagance.
Maybe you should come out and watch stuff on the big telly with me.
By the time you watch it on the big telly, I've watched it on my laptop 12 hours previously. George says he doesn't recognise it. Swain asks who he thinks it might belong to. I haven't a fucking clue, you moron, says George. Ooh, spicy one, says Swain.
Yeah, it's like, isn't that your job?
Yeah. Adam's had enough of this and tells Swain to charge him or let him go. Adam was quite good.
Yes, he was.
Considering that Adam...
I think Adam is trying to win the good graces of the people of the street by defending George this time.
Yeah, as opposed to trying to prosecute him.
Right.
Because it was when Christina says to George, I'll go get Adam. And George says, no, don't get him.
Right.
It's like, oh, what's your problem with that? Oh,
Oh,
yeah. That's your problem with Adam. You're the reason why you were nearly having to sell your undertakers.
Right. Yeah.
On the street, Summer is crying in the community garden, still worried about George, and it's Gary and Maria who come along to comfort her and promise her that everything will be fine. When she goes, Maria asks Gary who he thinks killed Theo, and after a pause that can be measured in days, he finally says he doesn't know. George gets home and has barely had a chance to tell Christina and Todd about the brooch questioning when Christina gets a call from Swain asking her to go in to help with their inquiries. She goes in, and for someone who we understand to be well versed in talking to the police, she's unusually awkward, trying to make jokes that fall flat, that kind of implicate her, like when she's asked about what she was doing, like when she was asked what she was going to do with George's jumper, and she says that she wishes she had burnt it. But Swain and Kit are still more interested in George and the unusual decision for him to stay at home while Christina went on her mercy run to pick up Todd. She says it was only a brief hop to Inkerman Street, but Swain says the problem is that leaves George without an alibi. Summer goes to see Gary at the builder's yard and asks that he keeps the fact that she was upset earlier to himself. Gary dismissively agrees because he's far too busy deleting the footage of him taking a baseball bat to Theo's van. On Thursday, so we stay with Gary on Thursday and see him early in the morning at the builder's yard office when Maria comes in shocked that he's there at 5:30. He claims that he couldn't sleep and would rather work on his VAT returns. Maria thinks this is a pattern of behaviour, so she approaches him about it later at the salon after asking him for a lunch date at the bistro. She says that he's been weird ever since Theo was killed and asks him to tell her what's up, and she always has his back, and she does always have his back.
That's right.
And she continues to do that today. He looks like he's going to confess to something pretty serious, but then downgrades it and admits to twatting Theo's van with a baseball bat, but quickly adds that he's deleted the CCTV already and he's in the clear, and nobody saw him. So later, as he's waiting at the bistro for Maria, he's definitely not in the clear as he's lifted by Swain and taken to the station for some tough questioning from Swain and Kit. Gary explains he was working late and he didn't leave for home until 10:15. Kit wants to know about the text Gary sent to Theo telling him that he was coming for him. Gary explains that he was just letting off steam and wanted to put the shitters up Theo for fucking about with Todd. Swain asks about the CCTV and Gary says it gets wiped every week, but Swain still wants to take a look because there's a guy in the office who's a whiz with things like this and he's a tenacious so-and-so, but not tenacious enough to find anything on Megan's phone right enough.
Right, or Will's.
Gulp, says Gary.
Or that computer from that... or the drone footage.
Or the CCTV footage from the hotel.
Right.
But apart from that, the guy's a fucking genius. Swain then hightails it back to the bistro and this time lifts Maria for some questioning. We don't see any of that, but we do see Kit going to tell Gary that he's free to go. And this is a strange tactic from Kit here because he doesn't test Gary to see if he knows what Maria told him, and instead tells Gary that Maria said that they got their hole in the grotty builder's yard office and she made him delete the CCTV.
Because she was embarrassed.
That would have been a good thing to let Gary say that if you're a copper. Because you're basically feeding what somebody else has said back to Gary.
Right.
Back at the builder's yard, he thanks her for the alibi and hopes that it doesn't end up getting her into trouble. It won't unless you've got more to hide, she says, and he insists that he was at the yard until 10:15 and everything that he told her was true. We then cut to Sally and Tim, who are looking through the photos that they took at the wedding on their phone, and we see, but Sally and Tim don't, that at 10:02, Gary was walking the street in the distance over Sally's shoulder.
Joom, joom, joom. Oh, it's like Memento, but bad.
The strange switch to, I know we don't really have a narrator point of view here,
No.
but it felt like we just switched to omniscient point of view by jumping to Sally and Tim, who have got nothing to do with this,
Right.
and then zoom in on something that they're not looking
Right.
at.
They set down the phone and walk away.
Right.
And then we just keep getting closer and closer to the phone, and the picture, which for some reason is still on the phone. Mm-hmm. It hasn't switched to the saver field.
Screensaver.
Yes, that thing. And then it's like, it's so blurry. You only know it's Gary because Gary's wearing a white t-shirt and like a beige jacket. Mm-hmm. So much beige in this show.
An awful lot of beige. An awful lot of beige. And interiors as well.
Yeah, which is why I like Debbie's house so much. Mm-hmm. It's all color. The capital C.
So the fact that we don't see a character seeing this.
Right, yes. Sally and Tim do not notice
No.
Gary in the background.
So it feels a bit of a cheat that we know it.
Right.
I think I need to know this through the eyes of a character.
But if they knew it, then they would take it immediately to the police and the storyline would be over.
Oh, yeah, I can absolutely see why they can't do it that way. But,
Right. It does feel like a cheat.
But it feels like a little bit of an omniscient POV switch that didn't really work for me. On Friday, George has assembled the friends of Todd at the Undertaker's to
Right.
give them a pep talk
And Sean.
about taking time to look after a fragile Todd. Well, Todd and Sean used to be really close,
I know. It was a joke.
which is why the fact that Sean didn't seem to give a fuck one way or the other rang a little falsely.
Well, let's not forget that one scene where, Theo was trying to get under Todd's skin by flirting with Sean, and Sean wasn't having it.
I know, and I thought that was going to get developed into something that didn't. Sean is an arse in this episode in general, and he reckons that Todd should be cock-a-hoop now that Theo's dead. Todd comes in and hears this, and he doesn't react well. He wonders if they're all doing this to cover up the fact that they all killed Theo, just like Murder on the Orient Express, which we might as well reference at this point.
Yes.
He storms off to the pub where Sarah consoles...
Last week it was Fatal Attraction. This week it's an even older movie. Or newer.
Yeah, maybe they're referencing the new version.
Maybe now that Kenneth Branagh is for some reason in Devil Wears Prada 2, they're gonna lift him up by mentioning another one of his movies.
He storms off to the pub where Sarah consoles him, but then in comes Danielle, who's in a mood and wants to know if he killed Theo. Todd takes her home and insists that he didn't, and he'd do anything to bring him back, even if only so that he could get his day in court to look Theo in the eye and explain all the things that he did to him. The abuse, the belittling, the violence. And they might not have won, but he would have been heard. And this seems to trigger something personal in Danielle, and when Todd says that he suspects that she doesn't believe him, she whispers that she does. Theo never hit her or the kids, but he was very controlling.
Well, he did hit Miles that one time.
Had a temper, and she was secretly scared of him. She and Todd offer an ear whenever the other needs it. I thought that scene with Danielle was brilliant.
Yes.
And her explanation was brilliant as well. We wondered if Theo abused her in any way, and then seen, well, she doesn't seem like the character who's going to be abused. The way that she talked to him was very aggressive and confrontational.
Yes.
And so it didn't seem like she was going to be
abused in the same way.
Beaten up, right?
Right.
And I'm glad that they said that she wasn't, or she said that she wasn't, that his abuse was far more insidious.
Right.
And his controlling nature.
Emotional and financial.
Right. It feels like we were right, but we were right for different reasons.
Right.
And the way that Danielle expresses this to Todd, I just loved it.
Yeah, it was very good.
I think she's been great
Yes.
from the moment that she called Sarah slag.
Yes, that was funny.
And while her character has often been more on the villainous side, to see this part of her where she allows herself to bring the barriers down, and she ends up connecting with somebody that she hated
Right.
for so long, and the two of them
And
have
still
so much
kind
in
of
common.
resents. You know, she says some things that makes it seem like even if Todd didn't kill Theo, she blames Todd for Theo being dead.
Yeah, because she says that Theo would be alive if it wasn't for Todd.
Right. Which I don't know if that's necessarily true. Because we know that Theo has abused at least one other man.
I wonder what happened to him.
Yeah.
What was his name? Owen. Was it
Yeah.
Owen?
Maybe. No, Owen was the guy that Theo slept with, that he and Gary were supposed to work with, wasn't he?
Oh, I can't remember.
I don't know. But anyway, that guy was in a good, decent long-term relationship with his nurse, remember? That he met in the group.
We thought that was going to be a God.
Did we think that was going to be a bigger thing?
I remember thinking that I hoped that this was going to be something that brought that storyline to an end, and that was about 8 months ago. It was in the summer last year, wasn't it?
I always thought it was just exposition. And it also kind of felt tacked on because I'm like, wait a second, when did he have this long-term relationship with this guy that Danielle didn't know about?
This was all part of the reinventing the purpose of this story.
Right, exactly.
From it not being the conversion thing to
Right.
the coercive control thing.
Right.
That we invented another gay relationship where it seemed that when we were introduced to Theo, we were led to believe that Todd was his first.
Right. Yeah.
And that was then an act. And I didn't really believe that it was an act.
No,
but
exactly. And then it made, instead of a serious storyline where we see a gay man being abused by heterosexual people, it became a gay man abusing another gay man. And that was just what it was.
So later, Todd goes round to the builder's yard and asks Gary if he killed Theo. Gary says he only did what they agreed he would do, so there was a agreement between the two of them, which was to put the shitters up Theo and send him on his way. Gary's suspicious, though, that Todd would come and accuse him of this, and suspects that he was only around in the hope that he would be caught on camera looking appalled. Todd obviously denies it. Gary thinks it's best that they aren't seen talking together for now, so they go their separate ways. But Kit's on the other side of the street, and he's seen all of it.
Dum dum dum.
And that's how we end this week's episodes.
He couldn't have heard it though.
No. But sees them
Talking.
and maybe not partner on the best of terms. Overall, found this a little disappointing. What were your thoughts on it?
I mean, they're going to milk this for all it's worth.
We apparently will not find out who the killer was for a couple of months.
Which is ridiculous.
This was always going to happen.
Right. Yeah. And it's ridiculous. You know, I find out more sitting in a 3-hour movie than I do in this. It's like, you don't need months to tell a story, especially not this particular story. I understand telling the story of abuse over months, but the story of finding out who murdered somebody should not take months.
I was going to say it's been a while since we've had a whodunit, but I'm also,
but it's not.
but I'm
Not
also
really.
thinking that, well, racist Kelly back in the day, I guess, and then it turned out nobody.
It wasn't a murder whodunit, but like the whole Becky thing was kind of like a
No,
police conspiracy, crime. Ooh, what's going on? What's really going on here? Sort of thing.
Yeah, more conspiracy than whodunit, I would say.
Yeah.
I think the parallels with the Yasmin story just kind of continue. Although in the Yasmin storyline, it was, is Yasmin going to get the blame for trying to kill Tim's dad.
When Tim's dad fell off the roof of his own volition.
Well, no, that was him. That was him dead. But remember, Jasmine hit him with a bottle,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah, that was
you
terrible.
think that's going to be the end of it, and it's not. So we're well versed in the stretching the storyline out until it's
Until it's dead
so thin it's
and
transparent.
dry and no longer interesting. They make, they keep saying these things about, oh, we want to be more like the stuff you
Squid
watch
Game.
on Netflix.
I forgot about the Squid Games line. God.
Right. But if they really wanted to be like shows like that, they'd wrap a storyline up in 4 episodes. You know?
We're banking on the evolution of this story into something else. And fair enough, it has evolved from the coercive control storyline into a murder storyline
Yes.
very briefly,
But
and then
let's-
into the whodunit storyline.
Let's remember, it evolved from conversion therapy storyline to internalized homophobia storyline to coercive control storyline to murder storyline. So this is it's already too long.
I think you may be doing it too much credit by saying it evolved from the coercive control, because I feel like that was a very sudden stop.
Right.
A very sudden
It
start
wasn't
into
really an
something else.
evolution.
No.
It was as subtle as a
A brick.
heart attack.
I feel like I don't really care either about who done it. But my inkling is, we thought last week Summer did it, Christina's covering. I don't think that's the case anymore. The way that Christina acted about George, I don't think throwing George under the bus would be part of Christina's plan if Christina had anything to do with it.
No, but it also didn't feel like she was throwing him under the bus necessarily.
Well, she's
With
trying
the
to plant
shirt.
seeds with Todd, thinking that, there must be something here if he's been kept in. If she knows that Summer did it, I don't think that would be something that she would say.
I think she's just worried.
I don't think it's her.
Well,
it
you
might be
don't-
Summer, and Summer has something to do with it because of the brooch and it being covered in blood. Is it more likely that it's somebody expendable
Like Miles.
like Miles?
It is weird. He's Chekhov's angry son because he just randomly shows back up for 5 seconds.
Sees his dad living in a van
Right. And then
and is
sees
disgusted by it.
and then sees like another man make a pass at him graphically on the street. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It doesn't need to have deliberately tried to kill him.
Right. It could be like Uncle Stephen pushing Leo into a dumpster.
Exactly. Is it more likely that Miles did it, or Millie, because, than it is Gary? Because if it's Gary, I can't see Gary going out of it, but I also can't see them letting Gary kill somebody and get away with another
Again,
murder.
right? Yeah. Yes.
It's not George.
Rest in peace.
So if it is
chin.
Summer, then it's probably the same reason that it would be for Miles. It would be an accidental, maybe a self-defense thing, maybe just a push.
Well, it was more than a push because somebody bashed his head in
Oh, somebody
before he
bashed him.
fell.
Yeah, that's right. God damn that forensic evidence.
But
you could hit him in self-defense.
And see, this is the other thing. This is the other thing. It's quite possible that somebody bashed him over the head in self-defense and ran away, and he stumbled out and fell off the scaffolding.
Right.
Or somebody bashed him in the head in self-defense and ran away, and then somebody else confronted him and pushed him off the scaffolding.
Do you know that's probably very likely?
It could very well be. I mean, why introduce Murder on the Orient Express if you're not going to do a Murder on the Orient Express?
Summer is racked with guilt because she thinks that she killed Theo, and it turns out that she didn't. There's your story. And it turns out it was Miles.
And Millie. Because, you know.
Well, that was the week that was Coronation Street. Helen, tell me, what was your moment of the week? Danielle and Todd for me.
Yes, that's exactly it.
There is a moment where Danielle says yes, and it is almost inaudible.
Yeah.
She said it so softly, and it broke my heart.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah, it was very good.
lovely bit of acting.
Absolutely.
And a great scene. That's our
Moment of the week.
Moment of the week.
boring moment of the week.
Daniel sitting alone in his house drinking.
God, that is so boring, isn't it?
Can we please think of something else a sad man can do besides get drunk in the dark in his own place? Please.
It's such a plot crutch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need something else.
And he's feeling so sorry for himself, and it's ridiculous. It's like, dude, you had the self-realization last week that maybe you're the problem, and now you've forgotten all about that?
Yeah.
Really? All right, man.
That's our
Boring moment of the week.
A boring moment of the week.
Yay!
I don't know what it is about the Corrie poll these days. It just doesn't seem to get in front of all that many people. I feel like sometimes I've been shadow banned.
So many people have left Twitter at this point. Except for the Nazis, and the Nazis don't watch Coronation Street.
They don't. So this is where we ask the people that get to see the poll. We just get 100 votes in this. We've got 8 so far. Which is really
Okay, that is
strange.
kind of weird.
So, the Twitter people who voted on what they thought of this week's episodes voted this way. This is 25%, meh, 50%, yay, 25%.
Yeah, that feels
It's
about
still-
right.
It still manages to grasp my
Yeah.
feeling on the matter.
Yes.
Mike says, kind of disappointed with the aftermath of Theo's death. It feels quite slow. The police working on who it could be. I went meh. It was okay. Nothing great. Chris says, I used to think George did it, but then they changed what it was. Now what George did wasn't it. And what's it seems strange and confusing to me. That's confusing to you, Chris? It'll happen to you.
It will.
Yep. But we don't let those comments or those scores influence our scores, obviously.
Correct.
That would be ridiculous.
Yes.
I'm going to see what my score is first this week. And I'm going to give it a 5.
I was going to say 5.5.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit disappointing.
It's too slow. And this is because they want to drag this out for months, which
Yes.
is a dumb tactic. I'm going to go on the record again and say, this is dumb.
Yeah.
Do not drag out a murder mystery for months.
Today, George is going to be the suspect. Tomorrow, Gary's going to be the suspect. Who's going to be the suspect next week? Well, we'll have to find out.
And then maybe we'll recycle them over and over again.
And at some point, Roy's going to get arrested and put to jail again. He wasn't even there. Swain
Or
doesn't
was
care.
he?
Yeah, a little bit disappointing.
Yes.
All right, let's wrap this one up then. This episode was brought to you with thanks to our friends of the podcast, Daisy, French Helen, Pickles, DT, Wendy, Noel, Canadian Helen, Christy, Shandy, English Victoria, Aurora Yvonne, Heather Westerfield, Russell Whiting, Brittany Porter, Laurie Anna, Tina, Leah, Tara J, Fiona B, Canadian Jennifer, Josephine Osingi, Anne Greenwood, Trish R, Sarah Purbrick, Ali Q, Hunker Munker, Darren, the artist formerly known as Steal My Fridge, Pamela, Marge JT, Tom Ambrose, Christopher Anstey, Terry in LA, Joe T, Corey Dales, Matthew McInerney, Welsh Emma, Matthew S, Rachel B, Uranium Jennifer, Catherine Monchero, Gary Heatley, Pam but not that one, Amy, Jenny Roll, Aussie Ali,
Wait.
Chris Horrocks, Cameron from Edmonton, Matt Birch, Library Jen, Jack the Mariner, David MacArthur, Saskatchewanian Karina, and Rebecca. Thank you very much indeed, folks, for your support. We very much appreciate it. If you've ever forgotten to write a pithy outro, write in to tell us about it. We're the talk of the street at gmail.com, and we're at Corrie Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. Or you can reach us the old-fashioned way, the talk of the street, PO Box 12, Eden Rapids, Michigan 48827. Our spoiler show will be available shortly after this one, and in this month's classics, we're talking about episode 668. Get access to this exclusive content by becoming a friend of the podcast. Find all the links at corriepodcast.com, and be sure to check out our pop culture sister podcast, The List of Lists.
Sorry, folks, we were sick this week.
Thanks for making it to the end of another episode, and we will be back next week with more
Talk of the street.
Talk of the Street.
Bye.
Cheerio.